Hello, friends. If you spent part of your career as a teacher, a police officer, a firefighter, or a federal government worker, or if you're married to someone who did, I need you to pay close attention to this one because there is a real chance the Social Security Administration is holding money that belongs to you right now. Not money you might qualify for someday. Money that is already owed to you under a law that's been on the books since the start of 2025. And for a specific group of people I'm going to describe, every single month you wait to act, you may be losing a piece of it permanently. I want to be straight with you today because there's been a lot of confusion and honestly a lot of hype around this, and I'd rather give you the truth than get your hopes up for nothing. So I'm going to tell you exactly what this law does, who has already been paid, who is still waiting and doesn't know it, and the one group of people most likely to be sitting on unclaimed money without ever realizing it. And then I'll tell you exactly what to do about it and how to make sure nobody scams you along the way. Stay with me to the end because the part about the clock running out is the part almost nobody is explaining. Before we get into it, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. Here's the honest reason it matters. Rules like this one change, get updated, and get quietly reinterpreted all the time. And when they do, the government does not send you a personal letter walking you through what it means for you. What I do here is track exactly this kind of thing and break it down in plain English while there's still time to act on it. The folks subscribed here find out in time. The ones who aren't usually find out after the deadline. So subscribe, turn on the bell, and let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the law itself. It's called the Social Security Fairness Act, and it was signed into law on January 5th, 2025. For decades, there were two rules on the books called the Windfall Elimination Provision, or BEP, and the Government Pension Offset, or GPO. In plain English, these two rules reduced, and in a lot of cases completely wiped out, the Social Security benefits of people who also received a pension from a job that didn't pay into Social Security. We're talking about teachers in certain states, firefighters, police officers, and federal workers under the old civil service retirement system. If you gave your working life to public service, these two rules may have quietly cut your Social Security check for years or erased it entirely. The Social Security Fairness Act got rid of both of them. Gone. And here's the big part. It was made retroactive all the way back to January of 2024. That means the government didn't just raise these benefits going forward, they owed people back pay for the months in between. So affected retirees were due two things: a higher monthly check from now on, and a one-time lump sum covering everything they'd been shorted since the start of 2024. Now, here's where I have to be honest with you, because this is where a lot of videos get it wrong. If you were already receiving a Social Security check that was reduced by these rules, the good news is the government has largely handled your case already. Through 2025, the Social Security Administration processed more than 3 million payments, totaling around $17 billion, and they actually finished that ahead of schedule. A lot of those folks opened their bank account one day and found several $1,000s they weren't expecting, in many cases $6,000 or more, plus a bigger monthly check going forward. So if you're a public sector retiree who was already collecting Social Security and you saw your check jump last year, that was this, you're most likely already taken care of. So then who is still owed money? Who is this video really for? Because that's the part that matters. And the answer is the people who fell through the cracks, the ones the automatic process couldn't reach. And there's one group in particular I really want you to hear. It's the spouses, the widows, and the widowers who never applied for Social Security in the first place. Let me explain why this is such a big deal. Under that old GPO rule, if you had a government pension, your spousal or survivor benefit from Social Security could be reduced all the way down to zero. So years ago, a lot of these folks went to Social Security, asked about benefits on their husband's or wife's record, and were told flat out, don't bother applying, you won't get anything. So they didn't. They never filed. And because they never filed, they are not in the system as someone waiting for an adjustment. Now the rule that zeroed them out is gone. Many of these spouses and widows are suddenly entitled to a real monthly benefit. But here's the trap, and this is the whole point of today's video. It will not happen automatically for them. The Social Security Administration cannot adjust a benefit for someone who never applied because there's nothing in the system to adjust. If that's you or your mother or a neighbor, you have to actually file an application to claim it. Nobody is going to come find you. And this is where the clock comes in, so listen carefully. For people who are filing a brand new application now, the Social Security Administration is currently only paying back benefits 6 months from the date you apply. Not all the way back to January 2024, just 6 months. Now, there's a real fight going on about this. A bipartisan group of senators has been pushing the agency as recently as early 2026, arguing that the law's plain text says everyone should get their back pay to January 2024, and that these spouses shouldn't be punished for not applying earlier, especially since Social Security staff told many of them years ago not to bother. As of right now, that dispute has not been fully resolved. But here's what it means for you in practical terms. Under the current rule, the longer you wait to file, the more back pay you may permanently lose because that 6-month window keeps sliding forward. So if there's any chance this applies to you, waiting is the one thing you cannot afford to do. There's a second group too. These are people who never applied for their own Social Security retirement benefit because the WEP rule made it seem like it wasn't worth the paperwork for the tiny amount they'd get. Same situation. That rule is gone now. Your benefit could be meaningfully larger, but you have to file to get it. And then there's a third group, roughly 500,000 people, whose cases were tangled up with other issues and are still being worked through by the agency. If you're in that bucket, your case may simply still be in the pipeline. Now, I promised you honesty, so let me tell you clearly who this does not apply to, because I don't want you spending an afternoon on the phone for nothing. If you worked a public sector job, but you did pay into Social Security out of your paycheck, and most state and local government workers actually did, then WEP and GPO never touched you, and there's no adjustment coming. If you're a federal employee under the newer FIRE system, you paid into Social Security, so this isn't about you either. And if you spent your career in the private sector, these rules never applied to you at all. This is specifically for people who earned a pension from work that did not take Social Security taxes out of their pay. That's the key. So here's exactly what to do. First, figure out if you fit the picture. Did you or your spouse earn a pension from a job, teaching, public safety, federal civil service, where Social Security taxes were not withheld? If yes, keep going. Second, if you are already receiving Social Security and your check went up in 2025, you're probably already handled, but you can call to confirm. Third, and this is the important one, if you or your spouse never applied for benefits because you were told the offset would leave you with nothing, that is your signal to file an application now. You can apply online at ssa.gov, or you can call Social Security directly at 1-800-772-1213 and tell them you're applying under the Social Security Fairness Act. Do not sit on this because of that 6-month clock I told you about. While you're at it, make sure the Social Security Administration has your current mailing address and your current bank account on file for direct deposit, because if they do owe you a payment and they can't reach you, that just creates delay. And one more thing, because whenever there's money moving and confusion in the air, the scammers come out. Please hear me on this. Social Security will never call you out of the blue demanding a fee to release your back pay. There is no charge to claim this money. Nobody legitimate will ask you to pay a fee, buy a gift card, or wire money to speed up your payment. If anyone contacts you claiming they can get your Fairness Act money faster for a price, that is a scam. Hang up. The real process is free, and you do it directly with Social Security. So let me bring this all together. The Social Security Fairness Act erased the 2 rules that cut benefits for public servants, and it did it retroactively to January 2024. If you were already collecting a reduced check, you've most likely already been paid. But if you or a spouse or widow in your life never applied for benefits because you were told the old rules would leave you with nothing, there may be a monthly benefit and back pay waiting, and it will not come to you unless you file for it. Because of the 6-month retroactivity rule for new applicants, every month of waiting can cost you money you can't get back. Check whether it applies, file if it does, keep your information current with Social Security, and don't let anyone charge you a dime to claim what's already yours. If this helped you, please subscribe and share it with someone you know who spent their life as a teacher, a first responder, or a public servant, or who's married to one. This is exactly the kind of thing that never gets explained to the people who earned it. I'll see you in the next one.